Comedy Club, yeah. Comedy, yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Craig Shoemaker Show. Who are we sponsored by today?
No one today.
Hang on one second. No one today?
I feel like...
Go to System LS. They're a good one. Adam and Eve, try them. Just go to CraigShoemaker.com, go through there, buy stuff, use our coupon codes, comes back to us, and then I can buy a new shirt. Mike, just open up with it. Mike Fair, I never met the guy. He literally said... He starts right in on my Abercrombie shirt.
I did tell you that I owned that shirt in 1996, though I was induced by everyone around you to make fun of you. I didn't come in that hot. I literally just met you, so I'm not just going to make fun of you.
You could do that.
Though I would recommend a new shirt.
How old were you in 96? That's just make it worse for me right now.
I was 17.
Okay.
I'm 35 now. That's when Abercrombie
a little bit
became...
older than her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually, I told her I was on AOL, and she whispered to her dad, "What's AOL?" This isn't good.
Everyone who's like from entertainment that kind of like started off in the early 90s, everyone has an AOL account.
Thank you.
It's not good company, but everyone has it. And like when we get emails at Funny or Die from kind of comedy legends, we always, without fail, it's AOL.
I like the way you prefaced when you walked in here that you had just met me and you weren't going to do the ripping, and you just had 4 of them at least. I hate to see when you really know someone.
Is that the show? Is that what you wanted me to come on and just make fun of you?
It could be. It could be that. It's an organic show. We're trying to make it organic. Whatever seed is planted, and if it grows organically, I just bought this shirt across the way because I had a really bad shirt on, but I would definitely take that ahead of this at this point.
During
I'm
desperate
busting out of
moments.
this thing.
So this was the upgrade. That's just what you said.
I know. You're qualifying.
Oh, okay.
But it was funny, your qualification. I was not aware. My assistant Sierra was sitting over there. I said I'd need to shop somewhere, and she said, I said Abercrombie & Fitch was across the way. She started howling, laughing, just at the thought of me walking in there. And I was not aware that you were wearing this at 17, and that's who it's for. Yeah. I feel like I shopped at Baby Gap at the way it fits me. Yeah. It's terrible. I'm just busting out of this thing. I like it to be from my muscles. Speaking of muscles, you do yoga?
Nice segue.
Look, I'll do anything to get out of this situation. You do look like you have a yoga body.
Thank you. I have done yoga in the past. It's actually a humbling experience for me, so I don't do it too often. My flexibility has always been the bane of my existence. I know all of your listeners really care about that, but I can't touch my toes really. So,
really?
Not well.
You're a tall fella.
Yeah, I'm tall and not flexible.
Really? Well, where'd you get the good body from? You must work out somehow.
Yeah, well,
we'll get more uncomfortable as the show goes on.
Oh,
yes.
Actually, I play basketball with Adam McKay. You were just talking about him.
You do?
Yeah, we play. We were supposed to play this morning, but just got canceled.
Where do you guys play? I want to be in on this game.
Near the Funny or Die office in West Hollywood.
Oh.
Yeah. You guys have courts?
No, I wish. There were early
talks. You're rich enough. You guys can make your own courts. We're not Sony.
We're not that rich, but it would be nice to have a
court.
Where
do you make your money from at Funny or Die? Where does the money... is it YouTube money, or what kind of money comes in?
Advertising, sponsorships, at least.
Advertising is probably close to 60% of it. Branded entertainment is a big deal for us. We're kind of brands, obviously, kind of hire Funny or Die.
Content integration.
Hire us to make them a Funny or Die video that isn't really commercial, isn't really a standalone piece. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and did you come in to kind of help them with the infrastructure? Or you just strictly creative?
A little bit of both. So Adam McKay and Will Ferrell and Chris Henchy hired me to be the first producer at Funny or Die.
Yeah.
So I've been there almost 6 years.
Wow.
And yeah, it's the growth has been really organic and great, just from the people we've gotten to work with and the videos we've made, which have led to TV shows and movies and brand entertainment and social media and commercial. Healthcare. Yes, we're very bullish on healthcare.
But I think that's really cool that you had something to do with literally our country's health. You heard about the Between Two Ferns. Okay, I got the title right. Tom Bergeron was here earlier. I couldn't get America's Own Videos. I kept calling it American's Videos. Did I do it again? I can't get the funny in there. Funny or Die.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Okay. But they had Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
Was President Obama was on.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, it's been such an honor to work with Zach Galifianakis and Scott Aukerman. So we've done about 15 episodes of Between Two Ferns, and yeah, The Presidents has recently become the biggest of all time, inching out Justin Bieber. And so that's very tough competition for the internet, actually. As we know, Bieber is very popular online, for better or worse. And
more worse.
Yeah, more worse. And yeah, look, it was awesome. I mean, it's something we've been working on for a while, and I'm glad that people really liked the video. And the video did make a difference. I think like the most recent report that I read today was 10 million people now have health care because of the Affordable Care Act. And it's good. It shouldn't be a political thing.
And you were responsible for 50% of it. No, seriously. I mean, that's what I heard, some figure like that.
We did drive a lot of traffic.
You drove a lot of young people that normally wouldn't have done this. They're tuning into something that they have a taste for.
Yeah. It definitely got people's attention.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And it kind of was a branded entertainment video where obviously he was there to kind of push something, but it didn't feel like a commercial or an ad. It just felt like a funny video first and kind of a message second.
It's a smart move on his part. I remember when Bill Clinton ran. You guys are old enough
Yes, I remember Bill Clinton, of course.
Bill Clinton, he went and played saxophone in the Arsenio Hall show, which was very much a part of that current zeitgeist at the time. And now President Obama goes on and was he a fan of Funny or Die, or is this something that you guys basically pitched to him?
He did know what Funny or Die was. We had made a bunch of videos already kind of helping to support the ACA, so he knew about the work we had done, and he was very appreciative of it. He actually, I didn't know this when we shot it. I found out when he gave an interview that he didn't know what Between Two Ferns was. Huh. His daughters did.
Of course.
And so...
That's why we have kids.
Yes, exactly.
That's why I have children, to tell me he should have stopped me from Abercrombie & Fitch purchases, but he didn't. I hadn't.
You should be mad at your assistant. Didn't she send you over there?
No, she didn't. She tried to stop me.
I don't mean to throw it. Like, I keep on feeling like I'm being blamed for like the Abercrombie.
You're not being blamed.
I'm not.
I'm just getting it's a catharsis.
I'm not the victim here.
It's a catharsis. I'm trying to get this out. No, she laughed at me at the thought that I was going to go. So she did try to stop me.
Okay.
She actually said,
well done.
She actually said, "You'll see."
Yeah.
And then I'm so stubborn. I went in there and told the assistant. I said, "Listen, I want to show my assistant what's up here. You put me in something good." She goes, "Mom, my dad would wear this."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't care. Just give me something."
It's a fine shirt, except for that.
Except for
the moose is a dead giveaway.
Grown men and logos, just I don't.
I told her that. I said, "Do you have anything without a moose?" And she says, "We have nothing."
Yeah.
So that was one thing, and the other thing is they don't have sizes for people my size or age.
Right.
They don't, because the other bad part you're not noticing is the buttons look like they're going to. If you have
open.
one exploding in your eye, just wear your sunglasses. Something's going to pop very soon.
I do see a light strain there, but I didn't want to bring it up.
You want to know the truth? I've never dressed for a guest before, but my previous clothes that I put in my car that is now a Jiffy Lube that I forgot, I wore something for you.
Really? What was that?
You were going to, I thought to myself, I've never done this before, but in my research, I thought you would dig that I wore a Hoosiers shirt.
Oh, yeah.
From the movie Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought
like a Hickory High School?
Exactly, a Hickory shirt.
And like number 15?
And I was going to bring you one. Jimmy Chitwood, I was going to bring you one of these shirts. And I had it in my car, and I had to stop at Jiffy Lube, and I ended up at Abercrombie & Fitch. Anyway, so I just...
Jimmy Chitwood, that's a good call. That's also a very easy to execute Halloween costume.
Oh, okay. I should have brought it.
If you're looking for
I could have covered your October. So you went to Indiana.
I did, yeah.
Right, but you're a Michigan guy.
I did. Good research. Yeah, well, I love IU, too. But I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and my whole family went to Michigan. But it was so close to home, literally, that I went down to Indiana, and I absolutely loved it.
Have you ever used your opportunity on Funny or Die to attack the Buckeyes? Have you ever had a video that was Ohio State driven?
We were trying to put together one. There was a time I was trying to put together a video with Desmond Howard and Eddie George. Around the game, but that didn't come together.
That just to explain it to you, what they
played.
I know
the Buckeyes.
Opposite.
I'm not a huge fan of them, so
okay.
That
well, Eddie George was a huge Buckeye, and Desmond Howard was Michigan.
Yeah.
So you were going to put a video, but you didn't do it.
It didn't come together. Scheduling didn't work out, though we could potentially revisit. The one that really got away is Jalen Rose who's turned into a good friend. He was on the Fab Five with
Sure.
that. We were going to. It was right when the Fab Five, his documentary, came out, which is a great movie.
It was his documentary.
Yeah, he produced it.
Although 2 of them wouldn't be in it.
No, just Weber.
Weber was the only one. I thought it was another. Okay.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a thing going. But there's a lot in that documentary about Duke and how Duke wouldn't recruit players like Jalen Rose and the rest of the Fab Five. And Grant Hill came out and actually wrote. And Grant's a great guy and very smart. He came and wrote actually, I think, an op-ed piece for the New York Times, kind of defending Duke. And so we had a whole video ready to shoot where Jalen was going to do, like during football games, like they show commercials for the schools playing. We were going to do a video where Jalen was doing a commercial for Duke, but just making fun of everything that people know about Duke, and having it come from Jalen like right at that time would have been a great video. And then it just, for reasons I can't really go into, we couldn't shoot it. I should talk about the videos we do make and not all the things that we don't
we want to hear about the failures.
But,
I think we want to hear about multimillionaires that do really well.
Yeah.
No, we want to hear about the failures. I do want to know about the process of how someone, I'll give you an example on a personal level. I just made a video. It's about 3/4 of the way finished. It's animation. First of all, do you do animation? Do people? Is it not your gig?
Some. We've done some nice Thanksgiving Day specials. We did one with Sarah Silverman. We did one with Larry David, and we did one with Bill Cosby. So they've kind of turned into nice Remember Thanksgiving? There were a few animated specials when you were kids, for Thanksgiving. And
Charlie Brown and the pumpkin. And all
that. And the mouse on the Mayflower for some reason. I always remember, though. Who even knows where that came from? So we've done a few animated pieces like that. I wouldn't say people seek out animation with us, though. When it has the right people and kind of sensibility and timing, they'll get 500,000 views or so.
Well, yeah, we just did an animated piece, and I was wondering, you try to find the platform for it, or does it go to YouTube? But Funny or Die is obviously one of the best platforms that you could have, and also getting your stamp, because that's not easy to do. I mean, you guys are pretty particular about what you have.
To some degree. I mean, anyone can upload a video to Funny or Die.
Really? Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of scary. It's like, which scale do you want? And people get to rate it. Like, is it funny or do you die? And hence the name Funny or Die.
Yeah,
so if it sucks, it dies, and everybody knows it sucks.
Yeah.
So.
Did the name come from New Hampshire, by the way? Anything to do with that?
Chris Henchy came up with the idea. It's been around.
He did?
Yeah. So it's been around for 7 years, and I've been there for 6 years. So I missed the very beginning of it. But what we focus on are the Funny or Die exclusives, and that's we make about 20 to 25 original videos a month, and so we have a whole team of writers, directors, producers, and editors who help us make those.
And how long are those? About 3 minutes? Or?
Yeah, and depending on the piece, anywhere between a minute and 3 minutes.
Now, I understand you were supposed to have your own channel or on cable, right? Didn't you have a Funny or Die channel or I know you were on HBO for a little bit.
Right. We've
seen it recently.
The website is kind of the engine that drives everything, and from that we've been able to get the branded entertainment going, and TV has been great for us. So I think what you're talking about is Funny or Die Presents on HBO, which was 2 seasons of sketch comedy that we did at this point now close to 5 years ago. And now TV has really grown. We have the show. I don't know. Do you know Billy on the Street with Billy Eichner?
No.
It's a great show.
But
it's on Fuse, which is a smaller network. But did you see, we have a bunch of clips that go viral from that. Last week, he was running around with Paul Rudd asking all these women if they would have sex with Paul Rudd for $1.
I did see that one.
So that's Billy.
So it's a reality show.
It's a man on the street game show.
Oh, it is.
That happens to be subjective, and so you only really win if Billy agrees with your opinion about pop culture. It's great. I should have brought a clip or something.
And you produced that and sold it to Fuse.
Yes.
And so that's different. And then you take the clips from it, and
also put on Funny or Die.
Right. Yeah. And you put on Funny or Die.
And then the show Ep.19 on Comedy Central that's on after the Colbert Report that Chris Hardwick hosts, and that's a game show as well where 3 comedians kind of compete to see who has the funniest take about what happened on the internet that day.
I haven't seen the show, but people keep tweeting, why don't you get on Ep.19? So that's the show they're talking about. You guys produced it.
Yeah, it's a good show.
People keep telling me I should check it out first, then plead to get on.
So you'd be great.
We'll
help you with the wardrobe, but you'll be great on the show.
Why? I swear to God. I should do this every week.
What? Wear something that's
Next
not
week I'll go to
appropriate?
Benetton. Okay, how would that? Does that exist anymore?
It does still
Is
exist.
Benetton?
But that's still
I went
hip.
with an old reference. I used to shop there.
Well,
I
we'll
would
send you to
buy
Baby
things
Gap
that
or
look like
something.
a backgammon board back in the day. By the way, Adam McKay, listen to this, was a doorman in the comedy club where I grew up.
Wow.
Yes.
Where?
In Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah.
He
Wow.
was the doorman.
How old was he when he was
And
doing
I
that?
wonder how I was to him. I have always wanted to ask him, was I nice? Because I was the big headliner,
Yeah.
Was I nice to you? Apparently not. I've never been in any movies. But
I'm sure you
I
were
must have been a
nice.
jerk. No, I had a jerk phase.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young and you start to make it, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this.
The ego.
The ego
Tends
takes
to take
over. You
over,
know what
yeah.
I mean? If I knew then what I know now and who I am now, as a matter of fact, he and I are very much politically aligned, and I think you are too, from my research that showed me. I just love what he does
Yeah.
for our country.
Yeah.
You know, it's so underappreciated because he does it in a funny way.
Yeah.
Or if you watch the Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg movie,
Other Guys.
The Other Guys, really great stuff that doesn't hit you over the head, but it has such impact.
Oh yeah.
Do you find yourself making videos like that? Not as often, I would imagine, as just the straight on funny.
Oh
But
yeah.
where
All
you
the time.
where you can weave in a message.
Yeah, well, the internet's kind of like one giant newspaper, so we're always trying to make topical stuff because that's what people really care about. So if it's in the news, you kind of want to be commenting on it. And yeah, Will and McKay do a great job of making things funny first, but then obviously putting these messages into it.
Yeah.
So they're still hugely involved in the site and the creative behind it. So
They
that's,
are?
Oh yeah, so that's stuff that we're always
So Will
thinking
shows
about.
up at the offices as well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
can imagine him just popping in and just being silly the whole
Oh
time.
yeah. No, yeah.
I hate that. I would not. This will take 2 seconds, but I never want an interview to turn into give us the inside poop on him. But I am going to ask you. Now it's one person in the business I've never met and don't know, and
Will
I'm
Ferrell?
real curious. My friend, one of my closest friends, my son's godfather, played his brother in a movie, way before he made it, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And I tried to get insight. What is he like? Is he a clown in real life? And real life, like there's a fake life. But I mean, for many it is. But
Will is a great guy. I think with Will, like what you see is what you get, which is what I love about him. And so yeah, there's times when he and McKay and people get on a run and have some fun, but there's also times when we're just kind of talking through business stuff at Funny or Die as well. So he just feels like any other regular guy. He's not someone who comes in and is like always on.
yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Nothing against those people, but that's just not his thing.
No, I have a lot against
Right.
those people. You can say it. It's okay. But I actually don't like when people are on. And that leads me to the next question. I was curious. What I've noticed, I've taken a step back and sort of I'm kind of surveying what's the common elements of comedy of today versus when I was growing up.
Right.
I'm not old school with a cigar and a martini glass, but I do come from a world of joke writing and punchlines, and I think that's not. Are we considered dinosaurs when you're having the meetings? That sort of style of punching up a script, or you know what I'm saying, is finding those.
I don't think so. I mean,
No?
I think everyone's sensibility just should be looked at on its own merits.
True.
And I don't think the cadence of that has a ton to do with it. We punch up
Okay.
every script that we make at Funny or Die. So the writers will write a first draft and then they'll go into the writer's room and read through it and get jokes and everything. And when we shoot, it's very improv based and very collaborative. So even with the stand-ups that we're doing specials with, some of it just depends on the person. Some of it might be more about their life or observational or anything like that.
You
but
do stand-up specials?
yeah, but
Oh,
that's
I
no
wasn't aware of
different
that.
than what Jerry Seinfeld and other people are doing. Really, kind of set the stage for people to kind
Right.
of have that persona be accepted on stage.
Right.
So yeah, we did the Sarah Silverman We Are Miracles last year for HBO.
Yeah, she's great.
We're doing this up and coming guy that we all love named Gerard Carmichael next week. Those are for HBO, and then we're also talking to a bunch of other comedians, maybe not as big as
You're
Sarah.
a production company, basically.
Yeah, Funny or Die is producing them.
Right. And
Yeah.
you're producing those. I mean, I've just been really taking a step back because I've been at this since junior year of high school as a stand-up. And I've kind of been observing like I was on that show, Parks and Recreation. I was on there a few times.
Yeah.
My observation of the current style is it is improvisational, but it's very much farce. Where I wasn't brought up with farce. I was brought up enjoying farce, like Sledgehammer or whatever.
I love Sledgehammer.
And yeah, that was farce. Get Smart was farce, but it never really had a sustainable life on television. Farce really can't be done on television. But what I've noticed is, and especially Will, they're farcical characters. There's really not a lot of truth, and there obviously is elements of truth. But I mean, is that pretty much the way are you directing that, or is that just kind of, how do you see that manifesting?
I feel like it's a trend. It's a trend that people see when what they find to be comical, and then people kind of follow other people. They're like saying that's what I've seen before, and that's funny, and other artists feels like that's the same route that they should go to too.
But you see what the difference is? The difference what I'm saying is, like, I noticed, like, with Amy Poehler, when we're on the set, I noticed other people, when I guest on there, I stick with the lines. I'm frightened. You know what I mean? But I see other people present like they're presenting to a queen. And they're going, I'm going to make you laugh. Right. And they'll do 5 different takes completely, and they're way out there. And you never know what's going to end up in the air. And is that kind of your taste and your Funny or Die's taste is kind of a wink?
It depends. I think, Will, I think, does a great job of bringing some level of humanity to those kind of very, outrageous and sometimes absurd characters. Like, I think you end up caring for his characters despite, maybe how far removed they might be from reality. I think he made me like George Bush. Yeah, there you go. and I think a lot of what you're describing is, improv is such a big part of people's background now. Before, I definitely see a difference between stand-ups and improv. Exactly. Because stand-ups, I mean, I don't have to tell you, that's a grind. Being on the road, you're by yourself, and you're just going all over the world and country. And improv is just by nature a more, let's go to this one place and then kind of feed off of each other.
The feeding off of each other is very key to what I'm saying is there is that element of camaraderie and teamwork, whereas a stand-up, it's about you, and it's about you being an individual. I mean, those are the muscles that I worked for years, and then now I'm seeing this whole other direction that comedy is taking. It's very collaborative. As a matter of fact, you guys have the same basic teammates that you go to. They're you're John C. Reilly. That's his name, right?
John C. Reilly, yeah.
C in there. Yeah. He's in many things that. And then there's the Judd Apatow who came from stand-up, and now he's much more in that world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I guess what I always personally look for is what can feel surprising, but also not trying so hard to be different. I like things that, like, for example, when Billy Eichner pitched me his show, I had never seen, and still really haven't seen, a subjective game show. That just felt like, oh, wow, what would that be like? And with Ep.19, I saw comedians kind of, compete, for lack of a better word, kind of play around and, like, exchange jokes and materials and runs on Twitter. And when I heard that idea, I was like, oh, what if we kind of captured all of that in a game format and brought together, 4 funny real people, Chris Hardwick and the 3 guests, every night to kind of play that game together. And it's just something that felt really fresh and different. So that's what I personally look for. And just stuff you haven't seen before, because I think that's what you always want to, embrace and kind of set the standard with, and not just do what everyone else is doing.
Do you choose things that you don't necessarily laugh at? I mean, that someone else in the room is, or do you really find that you have a common taste with Adam and Will and Chris?
I definitely have a common taste.
You have a common taste, but does anyone ever go outside of there? You go, whoa, you laughed at that? I didn't find it funny at all, but let's put it on. I mean, is there anything like that, or is it really, really
rarely
oneness?
Rarely. They're very involved in the creative team, and so they know who's kind of involved, because we're there to kind of be stewards of their sensibility. And so, it is always an interesting conversation. Oh, here's this idea that we know would get a lot of views, but do we want those views? Is that the right type of thing for us? But you don't want to be too precious, because it's the internet, and there's lots of different comedy out there. So, even if it's not a fit for us as an exclusive video, maybe someone goes and makes a video on their own, and then we're able to kind of put it on the homepage or put it up on our Facebook page or whatever to kind of show.
And let the fans
Yeah, exactly.
Vote with their own taste, which
Exactly.
could be different than yours. Obviously, your taste is more common than most because of the success. I mean, we watched Talladega Nights last night with my family.
Yeah.
With my, what a family movie that was.
Yeah. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is, but it really it went right through the I have a number of kids, and it went right through. The 3-month-old was not into it. She was sucking away over there, but we really did get a kick out of it. And I noticed again, there's Jason Sudeikis. I forgot he was even in it. And there's, it's kind of this brotherhood and sisterhood that goes on. And do you make calls to the go-tos, and when you have a script in mind, you just go, okay, I know who's right for this, or are you searching for new talent all the time? Both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great that guys that I kind of started at Funny or Die with, like, the Nick Krolls of the world and Paul Shears and John Daly and Brett Gelman, they're now all TV stars.
Right.
So it was great to kind of be a small part of helping them get to where they're at. So it's always a combination of, attracting big name talent, comedians, movie stars, athletes, whatever, but also still being a great home for up and coming people that we can embrace and help kind of go to the next level altogether with.
I remember the first video. Do you remember that? The Landlord?
The Landlord with Will's little daughter.
It was Adam's little daughter.
It was Adam's little daughter.
Yeah, Pearl.
But she played Will's. She was and she had a real foul mouth. I remember watching it going,
hilarious.
oh my God, my ex-wife, I would have a restraining order on this. but that brings me to the question of, I'm serious when I say that. My ex-wife literally has taken me to court over comedy.
Wow.
I'm not even exaggerating or kidding. I wish I was. And my mom has a restraining order on things that I've said that are actually true. Oh, wow. And what I say to her is, no one thinks it is. No one thinks that this little girl talks like that. You know what I'm saying? So have you ever run into situations like that? Or,
Is Pearl like 6 now and she still has a foul mouth?
She's older because that
probably 12
video's,
now.
she's probably about 9.
She's 9.
Yeah.
I don't know. The closest, I don't think so. I mean, sometimes we'll make a video and one of the comments will be like, the Smothers Brothers did this in 1977. How could you do something similar to that?
That's as bad as it gets?
Yeah.
You don't get lawsuits?
No.
Really? That hasn't been a case? You don't have a full staff of lawyers that are dealing with...
look, there's been a few things.
I have to have a staff of lawyers, and I'm just me doing my little stand-up routine.
There's been a few things, but no, not really. I mean, it's not a litigious environment. I mean, I think we've built up a lot of goodwill within the community. So
I would imagine like
nice.
a Sarah Silverman, for instance. I mean, she really rips the envelope. I mean, big time. And not pushes it. It's torn into pieces.
I think you can get away with stuff a little bit more online. It's just a...
And you just released her... Well, no, she was on HBO.
That came out in November of last year.
And
John Leguizamo actually did his stand-up with HBO, and he was actually showing the restraining order, the character, and that he had to go to court with his family member, his father, his mother, sued him.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Now, him I should have here, not Mike Farah. He knows the answers to this.
Actually,
Mike
I have a good
So
answer.
dark.
I have a good answer.
Yeah.
We work a lot with Hank Azaria, and Hank has...
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he has a series right now that he's doing about fatherhood.
Yeah, it's quite good.
But it is very good, but it has nothing to do with what you would put out.
No, we didn't.
He would not approach you with that because it's pretty serious.
Yeah. So he had a character, Jim Brockmeyer, this baseball announcer, and there was a big lawsuit between Craig Bierko, who's also an actor.
I know Craig.
He sued essentially Hank for stealing this character, which was totally false.
Oh.
And this went on for probably 2 or 3 years, and the case was just thrown out.
So
Hank
Craig
totally won.
Where did Craig do the character?
Craig and Matthew Perry.
Precedence,
Craig and Matthew Perry and Hank. It's kind of sad. They were all really good friends and kind of came up together.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, and they kind of would just riff, but there was no discerning character traits about what Craig did with his character. Yeah. Nothing matched up with what Hank was doing. In fact, there weren't any even traits because it was just like if you and I start each speaking like, in a Cockney accent and all of a sudden you go and want to turn that into your own character and do your thing, and I'm like, oh no, well that's my Cockney accent. But no, we were just saying the same thing at the same. So we don't have to get into details.
By the way, though,
Hank won because the whole thing was thrown out.
Right.
Like, totally.
Well, good.
Like, just
I don't like
totally.
lawsuits. I think they're ridiculous anyway, especially with comedy, for God's sakes. But that
And even with your loved ones, it's like you're not really making fun of them.
Well, they hate me.
What
There's
were you
no loved
saying
ones.
about your mom?
Well, I told the truth. She's not real happy about it. That she belly danced at my high school graduation party.
Oh, that's awkward.
So, you mean me saying it or me seeing it and
You
watching my friend
seeing
throw
it.
quarters at her?
That is also awkward.
Yeah, it was a little
Wow.
awkward. Mrs. Shoe. I can still describe it for you in detail, but I'll have a
Was she a
note
MILF?
following this show. She is, and my friends.
Yeah.
She would hang out with my friends.
Okay.
and
My mom did that too in high school.
very
It was a
much
little
so.
weird.
And my friends really. Should I go on?
It's your show.
How about your parents? What's your parental situation? Did you
Great
come from
parents.
really?
Yeah.
And you got into comedy? I think that's another difference. As a lot of comedians, the former comedians, like the older ones, came from pain, and I noticed these days it's just.
I
not
would
the
agree with
case.
that. People ask me, like, oh, how do you deal? I love working with creative people, and they might have some demons, but I feel like everyone has some demons.
But it's
But I don't
beautiful,
feel
though.
like it, at least in the Funny or Die world, and maybe this is just naive, I don't feel like people are walking around like with this huge weight on their shoulders.
Well, because it's a catharsis to get the weight off. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and,
what
and
I
we
found it
we
to
we,
be. I
we
really
create
do.
a lot of creative outlets
Yeah.
for whatever is going on. So I think it's channeled productively.
But the ones in charge don't have that, as I can see from. I don't know any of them personally, but I know Adam a little bit, and I understand a good relationship with his father. I think he told me he used to watch Three Stooges with him, and that's how they bonded. And I think Will grew up in Orange County, and
Yeah.
you had two parents that raised you and in the Midwest and all that stuff. This just pisses me off.
I'm sorry.
You have to have some sort of. Were you picked on as a kid? Just tell me something that led you to this that makes me okay with myself.
I can't touch my toes. Remember that?
Can't touch his toes.
I grew up
Yeah.
in Michigan, and my parents got divorced when I was very young.
Perfect.
Is that helpful?
Oh my God, how young?
Oh, and I switched houses literally every night. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday was at my dad's, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at my mom's, and we switched Sundays. My brother and I did, and that happened when I was going into first grade. So from first grade until the end of the high school, that's what I did.
Oh God, I feel like you just put good food in front of me.
But then I also, at the University of Michigan, a grad student interviewed me about the effects of divorce, and he told my parents afterwards that in like 2 years of research, he had never met another kid so unaffected by his parents' divorce as
Wow,
mine.
interesting. I'm
How old were
actually
you?
trying to have.
7.
You were 7. My kids
8.
were really young, and I try to give that to them. That they'll be interviewed someday and go, no, I really had a great relationship with my
good.
parents, and individually they didn't get along necessarily. But so you didn't have. Did you have any step situations?
I had a stepmom. My stepmom was huge in how we grew up. My stepmom was 20 years younger than my dad, and
Wow.
kind of like, she's what taught me how to work with actresses, because she
Really?
was younger and a great person. Her heart was in the right place, but very dramatic, highs and lows. And we're still in touch. In fact, my mom she remarried a guy younger than me and had a kid, and my mom is her godmother.
Interesting.
And they live in
Did
the
you
same.
follow that?
There's a lot of.
I think we should be on Maury right now. Maury Povich. So,
Yeah,
that was.
so I have a great family.
But
I
who
love
gave you your
them.
sense of humor? Do you feel like you had an influence on your sense of humor?
All of our friends, just growing up, we were always just good-natured troublemakers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some of it got into real troublemaking, but that was like later on in high school. But no, we would just, I don't know, we would just always have fun, and we would watch SNL and Seinfeld and The Simpsons. And
Isn't it amazing though that
and-
you ended up in the career that you can just be a goof ass and have new friends that are just like your old friends? It's the
yes.
best.
I didn't come out to
what a way
LA
go.
to like get into comedy.
You didn't?
No,
What'd you come out to do?
to make stuff, to produce.
To be a producer.
Yeah.
Well, you're not
Okay.
making car parts.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
You just come out to
I
make
love
stuff. You
all
came
creative
out-
people. So right
It can
now,
manifest itself in any way. In other words, you could do drama. You wouldn't have minded writing for a soap opera. Is that what you're saying? You just want to.
I
you want to
care-
have an outlet.
I connect with people when I really connect with someone and I love their ideas and want to do everything possible to get them made. And right now, the majority of them are comedy ideas because of where I live, but that won't be what I do forever. In fact, we've got this TV show coming out on Discovery at the end of May. It's something I've been working on for 2.5 years. It's about a small gym in Detroit that trains all these professional athletes, and it's called American Muscle, and it will blow your mind.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's going to be. Can I swear on this show?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
can.
It's going to be so fucking good. I cannot wait for people to see it. And Funny or Die let me produce it through Funny or Die.
Is that where Hearns trained?
Tommy Hearns, no, that's
It's another gym.
He passed
another
away.
famous gym, right?
Yes, don't tell me. Emmanuel Stewart Kronk.
Yes.
Emmanuel passed away a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not that gym. It's another gym that trains football players. And,
Yeah.
and
And
things.
so, are you a football fan?
Big.
So Richard
Huge.
Sherman from the Seahawks is in our premiere episode.
Oh, wow.
No, really?
Yeah.
That- that-
Nobody talking about me.
I love
I
Richard.
actually love that speech.
Yeah,
how
me too.
how good is Angelo? That was
on
well done, Angelo.
unbelievable.
That's quick.
It's as if he was like I'll use an old reference, Kreskin, and he.
I have no idea what that
No, you don't.
It's okay.
Does
Earlier,
anyone?
they said
When
a
we went
lot
from
of things
Tom
that I
Bergeron
couldn't
using
relate.
Jack Benny references to you who doesn't know who Kreskin is. There's actually a great movie that you should see. It's about Kreskin, but it's loosely based on Kreskin, starring John Malkovich,
I love John.
who plays a mentalist who was on the Carson show more than any other performer. Kreskin. He was a mentalist,
I see.
allegedly. And there's a movie. Somebody look it up. As long as you're quick over there, look up the movie that he is in. John Malkovich, probably about 10 years ago. I'll recommend it to you. It's a good movie, but Kreskin was very, very popular and became very bitter because Johnny stopped calling him. And he was really popular. Do you know who Johnny
Is it
Carson
not
is?
Finding
Are you okay
John
with that one?
Malkovich?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember his last
Carson
show.
Daly.
Yeah.
Carson Daly. Has Carson Daly ever approached you with a video or any comedy content?
They've done some features on Funny or Die, but I don't think Carson's ever. Oh yeah, Carson was in our series Goreburger with T.J. Miller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I saw him interview Nick Kroll before Nick Kroll made it. And Nick Kroll, you say, basically started with you.
Well, Nick Kroll is a genius. I love Nick Kroll. He started at UCB in New York and came out to L.A., and we produced a ton of videos with him and for him before he got his show.
Isn't he with, like, some beautiful... Who's his wife or girlfriend?
He's dating Amy Poehler.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
what he's dating Amy Poehler, yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, comedy's a good career for dudes if women would only get it. Brooke Shields, Chris Henchy, right?
Yep.
They're still married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they've
doing
come
great.
through. Yeah,
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, see?
That's what it is. If you can make a woman laugh, they'll
What's
stay
your
with
situation?
I'm just one day at a time.
What does that mean?
you.
What does
That
that
means
mean
he's
one day at
having
a time?
fun. He's
It
enjoying
means I'm
himself.
focused on working.
Means you're
and-
sober and one day at a time. What does that mean? I didn't have a drink this morning. I'm talking about your dating life. What's your sitch?
I'm focused on working right now, so I date,
the
but
hell
I
does
don't.
that mean?
It means I
It
don't
means
care
he's
about
having
dating.
Fun.
Straight?
He's
You straight?
enjoying his
I am
time.
straight, yes.
Straight and
Casual dating takes a ton of time and effort.
A lot of energy, right?
Yes,
And, it's just
and
like,
you end up, and it's like you're
small
going on your
talks.
own. It's like you're doing a junket, and each
Yeah.
date is a different junket. And like I've already got my junkets, Funny or Die. I talk about Funny or Die my entire life, so I don't want to go and then talk about it some more.
Right.
It's fine. I'm young.
Well, Chris and Adam and Will all go home to someone, but they're old
Their
school.
wives
and
and kids.
I'm at home working.
And you're at home working. So
That's why
that's
they
what
made him
they have the
president.
young guy that's out,
Absolutely.
yeah, and they get to go home and not talk at all about work and have that the quote-unquote normal life. And their
Yeah.
kids are going to grow up to be comedians.
There it is.
Yeah, I always wonder that about my children, like what they will end up being.
Yeah.
What is fertile ground for? That's what I'm trying to find some commonality.
You think the good-looking one is going to have a comedic role in
He's
his
had some
life,
funny lines.
funny,
That's
yeah.
for sure. The funnier one though is the
Is it-
9-year-old.
So there's
The
actually one of your
9-year-old.
children is this referred and
There's
known
the
as
really
the good-looking one.
Mike,
There's
I got to
the
be
really
honest with
good-looking
you.
one.
It's out of hand.
He's really
It's a-
good-looking.
Yeah,
How old is he?
I'm not kidding you. I'm
He's
not
like
even
11 or
exaggerating.
13.
No, he's 15.
15.
He would shoot you in your tracks if you called him 11 or 13. 11 or 13.
He's
You couldn't work on a
15.
boardwalk, that's for sure. Guess
You're a
my weight.
pedophile.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. He's like, I'm not exaggerating. I walk in rooms with him, and they look at him like he's a star. I've never been around anybody that good looking until Mike Farah walked into the room and I talked about his body. So, yeah, it's very odd to be around that because in the comedy world, you're not used to that. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And women are attracted to our senses of humor, and then, therefore you do find. As a matter of fact, what's his name? Jason Sudeikis had quite a dating life of beautiful superstar women, and obviously that's based on the sense of humor. He's not a guy that you would go, whoa, check that out. And my son has that going for him, which will make him not funny. Because I think that if you're really, really good looking, you don't work the other muscle. That's kind of my belief.
Yeah.
So if you see a good-looking guy walk into Funny or Die's offices and he says, listen, I'm really funny, do you have an attitude already? Do you think to yourself, there's no way this good-looking guy, he's a male model, there's no way he could be possibly that funny?
Well, regardless of what they look like, when someone tells you they're funny, that's probably your first indication.
All right. Let's take that. Let's work with another improv here. Let's say you heard, or he has an interview with you and says, I would like to present. Do you have a judgment right out of the chute of the way someone looks? No, not at all? No. Doesn't work?
That's good.
Okay, that is good.
I think people.
No, I don't want you to. We're trying to.
I feel like I answered wrong.
No, our listeners, it's never a wrong answer when it's the truth. Our listeners, we have a lot of insight on our show.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here. Is we're getting some insight into a world that most people are not familiar with. I mean, everyone in the rest of the world outside of Hollywood is who we're appealing to, and we have like a Tom Bergeron came on earlier, and he talks about Dancing with the Stars and kind of what it takes to be that, and now you're talking about this, and we've had huge Grammy producers, the writer of the Oscars, Bruce Valanche was on. Has Bruce ever worked with you? Such a great writer. Yeah, he's great. I'm pitching him to be on Funny or Die. So tell everyone out there the process of if they have ideas on videos, for instance, just tell us step by step what they would do. I'm in Ohio right now. I'm a Buckeye. Oh, you wouldn't accept them. But okay.
No, we accept you in Buckeyes.
I'm at Michigan, and I'm studying comedy, and I want to make a funny video for you. What do I do?
You go out and make it and put it on the site. Because now the currency is what you get made. It's not the things you're talking about and the things you're kind of dreaming of. It's like, oh, what can we do? Can we make this a video? Can we make it an Instagram video? Is it a 6-second Vine? Is it a Tumblr account? I mean, is it a Twitter account? There are so many ways to get discovered if you just continually do the work and do good work and you have a consistent presence to it. And there are 6 schools that Funny or Die has a whole ambassador program set up with. So if you were at Michigan, it'd be very easy to track down that Funny or Die ambassador, start talking about ideas, and then get those videos seen. Though you don't even need that because every video that's uploaded to Funny or Die gets watched by one of the editors, and every single day we put user-submitted videos on the homepage. And
and they're completing the videos, and yet you're not getting pitched every day. There aren't people setting up pitch meetings with you.
Well,
or
certainly
maybe some
there
of the
are.
higher ups are. Some
It's
of the people
both.
that have an agent that they get into the door.
The thing for people in the
connection.
Midwest, it's like, what can you do to take matters into your own hands?
Yeah.
It's a lot more productive to spend that energy going out and creating things than sending query letters and emails to agents and managers who don't want to receive them in the first place.
Right.
So that's how it's changed so much, and it's kind of there for the taking. I mean, written stuff. I mean, there are just so many ways when you have a point of view and a voice to get that out there in the social media age that, eventually the cream will rise to the top.
Is YouTube a competitor, or are they an alliance, or are there things on both?
I mean, in a macro sense, they would have to be considered competitor because it's online video. But what YouTube is trying to be and what Funny or Die is trying to be are so different.
Are they?
Right.
No one wakes up and say, "No, what's on YouTube right now?" YouTube is like too big for its own good.
Right.
I mean, the whole Maker acquisition and what's going on with consolidation will be very interesting to see what happens with that. We do have a YouTube channel, and our videos are that's like where second-run videos go. So after a week or so, we'll put up videos there, and it's grown, and we have a little bit of a community around that. But our focus. When Will and the guys started Funny or Die, it was a very different world, and you could actually create a destination site, and that's the value of what we've been able to do, and create that destination, create that brand.
Make it
because now,
like
with YouTube, it's like there are a few individual stars, but they're just part of when you read that Maker works with 55,000 artists, you're just like, what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, what? Like, whatever. I mean, and that's how they get all these views. And I don't pretend to know a ton about their business, but what we do is way more specialized and a boutique approach.
Well, you have
and
a
customized.
niche brand. You're centrally focused on comedy, and what's different from YouTube, I actually know a lot about new media and advertising and stuff. That's what I studied, and that's what I sold before. And the difference between with YouTube is that there's so many different categories. There's nothing really niche. So even from a search standpoint, you can't even find anything that you want that's comedy. People will hashtag and everything, and it's whatever had the most hit. It's not rated in a much more intellectual system as Funny or Die, where it rates each video so you can find it. And on really the authenticity, how funny it is. Right.
Yeah. That's why YouTube started those channels about 2.5 years ago. They were trying to bring some order to this crazy world.
Yeah. Now, if I saw a video with someone, I think, who works with you guys a lot, Patrick Stewart, I saw a homemade video. Now, that was a YouTube sensation. That wasn't necessarily, that wouldn't go, something like that wouldn't go through you. It was his girlfriend. He was rubbing her feet. And he goes, let me show you a triple take. And he did a triple take. And I think he did a quadruple take. And it was really, really funny. And it caught wind. And
oh, nice.
So, but that wouldn't be something that they would submit to you, because that's like a homemade video.
They could have.
People aren't going to you with that, right?
No, I mean, not typically. I mean, we have worked with Patrick. I haven't seen that video, but it's something. If it really kind of caught on online, we could easily put it on Funny or Die as well.
He's had a whole other career. I worked with him in the late '90s, and he was much more the regal Shakespearean actor. And I'm playing the Chuckle Hut in Wingaloogie, Michigan. And they put us together. I played his best friend, and he wasn't as.
What movie was that?
It was called Safe House, and the first day in the set, they go do an impression of him. He'll love it. So, I knew him from Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I go, make it so number one. And he looks at me and goes, you're a dick. make him go away. And I kept playing with him. One time I said to him, I go, hey, Patrick, Philadelphia, because I'm real raw Philadelphia. I'm like Adam McKay, who grew up in the main line. I had no money. So we used to do stuff like, I said, Patrick, in England, you ever take your jewels, your whole package, and tuck it back by your ass? You see what you look like as a woman. You ever give yourself a mangina? And he goes, yes, Craig, I've done a mangina. Everybody has. Every man has. If you're naked in bed, one day goes over here, your balls disappear, you have a mangina. So I said to him, you ever do Rocket Man? He goes, what's Rocket Man, Craig? I'm intrigued. I said, well, if you're circumcised, you put it back into the launch pad, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, and you got a Rocket Man. He goes, let's wrap it up and come and do Rocket Man. Engage. So he had like he had both going on. Like he would say, go do your little comedy skit elsewhere. Like we're acting here. And the other part of him was what you guys have found, and I guess Seth MacFarlane has found this real irony and funny within, poking fun at himself kind of thing. Do you have a stable of people like him that are kind of, would you do that with like a David Hasselhoff was known as like Baywatch? Would you take a guy like that and kind of work around him? Like characters from our
Hasselhoff
culture.
Was just on at midnight, because for April Fools he did that big prank with Google Plus, where he photobombed all these photos, and so we got in touch with him. I've known David and his manager for years now, and so we had
funny
him.
I would come up with that name.
Yeah, we did a real life photo bomb on the set of At Midnight on April Fools, and it was like a great, because that show is very much driven by the internet, and so to have Hasselhoff in person doing a photo bomb with Hardwick that essentially came to life was a great moment. Yeah. But I think the one guy that is really and still continues to be known for drama, who's really funny, that we've done a lot of stuff with, is Michael Shannon. We did a big video with him a year ago.
Don't know him.
Do you remember he was just in general, what is it, Zod for Superman, and he was nominated. He was in that great DiCaprio Kate Winslet movie, Revolutionary Road, I want to say.
Yeah.
You'd recognize him.
Not Titanic, okay.
Yeah. And so about a year ago, there was a sorority letter that went viral because this woman, this sister in a sorority, sent this scathing email to everyone in her chapter, like chastising them for their behavior, interacting with fraternities. And it came out on like Thursday afternoon. We got in touch with Michael, who was supposed to be coming in that weekend for a pitch meeting because he was in town for press. and we had him do a dramatic like reading of that letter
Wow.
on Friday,
Right.
and it came out on Monday, and it got like 5 million views.
And
in
you
one
just
day.
shoot it like on a
that's
green screen at
incredible.
your studio.
We shot it at one of the producers' homes.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a dramatic reading. Oh, that's
Yeah, it's a great video.
I want to ask you one inside question.
Sure.
You might be aware of this. I have a friend who has he does media content that is uplifting. It's called Elevate, and it's all consciousness based, and it's a whole other world from comedy. Well, they did a piece called Dear Woman or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do know about this?
Well, we made a spoof of it.
That's what I'm saying.
With Will Ferrell and Will Forte.
Right.
Your friend made that?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This is. I just got the
just got the
inside.
connection.
I don't even need other words. With that look that he gave. Oh wow, your friends are quite a whack. Well,
That's a incredible video that we all felt compelled to kind of recreate in our own way.
so here's what
Yeah.
happened. My friend Mickey did this video of men basically professing love for women. Like, was it Dear Mother? Or
Now, did they check?
Oh, this was very real. It was
Okay.
basically saying, like, we honor you and so on. Funny or Die gets a hold of it and spoofed it, and it got huge numbers from what I understand.
Yeah, it was
I
a
have
great
to look
cast.
this up.
Gosh, we made that probably 3 years
So
or
it was 3 years ago. Well, the following year, I was asked to be in the Dear Will Ferrell video. That was
the response.
The response, and so you never saw that. I'll have to get you a copy.
Okay.
I just talked to him last night. He's going to crack up. He might even be watching right now, and he'll saw the look that you gave.
I don't know how you see that video and not give that look.
This video.
That was a very objective look. The video was absurd.
I didn't see the video, but he told me. He described what was it?
I don't even remember,
They were
but
like
it was
letters
like-
to women of saying,
Yeah, it was
Professing
beyond
their love.
earnest.
Wow.
"Oh my God, we're done."
So we're wrapping
Hey
up.
man, that
I
was
know.
fun meeting you.
Thanks for having me.
Real fun. And
We got off to a rocky start, but I feel like we
think that was a rocky
regrouped.
start?
I don't
thought-
know. You made me feel bad about the shirt.
Oh, everyone was making him feel bad about the shirt, including
in my
I, and I'm
world
the
in
nice
Philadelphia,
one.
That's a great start. You
Yeah.
just write. You start.
Well, if you
ripping.
want to bring your good-looking son down a notch, make him wear it.
But he's appropriate for Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay.
He is age
Do
appropriate.
kids still wear that?
They do.
You know what? He doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
No,
Yeah, he's into other stuff. But real pleasure having you. Tell Adam that he was a great doorman. And tell him I said hello.
I will.
And I want to be invited to your basketball games. I need a video. I want to play some hoops.
I'll
Be in there.
videotape
What are you,
it.
6'2"?
6'3".
I'm afraid of your body, though. You look like you're in too good a shape. You could wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, and we have
he
a
could
shirt.
play. Oh, we have a
Oh,
shirt
thank
for
you.
you. These
Thank
are
you.
from me. These are
Yeah.
from organic cotton from my eco-friendly wife, who also
Oh,
loves
wow.
what you
Yeah.
guys do.
Oh, very
And
nice.
it's
That's a
Learn
Live
to
to
Laugh.
Laugh.
It's the name of our next documentary.
You
We
can wear
won't
it while
approach
you
you
do
about it
yoga.
because it's very sincere.
I think it might fit him. Maybe.
We
Very
have
nice.
we
Thank
have an
you.
agenda to let the world know that laughter really is the best medicine, and we can. I won't even promote what you have going because it's very easy to say. Go to Live Free or Die. No, go to Funny or Die and check out their videos. They need your support. Now we do go through our show to go to them, and then we get a kickback, don't we?
We will.
Or something. Go to
Hopefully.
Amazon and buy stuff. Anyway, it was real pleasure. Who's next week? Huh? We're not working on it. Guess so. I know who we're having. Tammy Pescatelli, I believe, is going to be here next week. True Dave is Tammy Pescatelli. She's in. Tammy Pescatelli, she was last comic standing finalist. She's really, really funny. Just awesome. We have a bunch. Chris Rock is coming up. We got him. Harlan Williams is coming up. Who else did we get? Who? Paul Gilmartin. Love Paul. A lot of great guests. Are you impressed, Mike?
I am
Farron?
impressed. I don't know why you had me.
We had you because we really dig what you do.
Oh,
You know,
thanks.
and
We'd like to say hi to Will.
yeah, we get to go through you to get to Will. Yeah,
What's up, Will?
Yeah, listen, I hope you all had a great time today. Thanks, Tom Bergeron. Tweet us, say hello, and let us know you're out there and spread the word to your friends. I'll see you next week. All right.
Hi.